Hey there, welcome to One Take, powered by backers. Right?
No judging.
Yeah.
No judging.
The millennials are really changing that.
Is charm. No.
All success begins with desire.
I feel like I'm on fire right now.
OMG, baby,
Hey there, welcome to One Take, powered by backers. Justin Fox. I am here with Phil Wong. Phil, thank you very much for joining me on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So you're in the beautiful, just north of Toronto, Markham area. So you are I'll just kind of read your quick bio here. Producer in the cannabis space.
Yes.
And you're just starting, or you're in the process of starting your own media company, which is Jam Sesh. So welcome to, and you've got obviously a large LinkedIn following. You've done a number of different things. We'll talk a little bit about that as we get in. But welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So I think I'll mention this. I forget exactly what it was, but I thought you thought it was funny. I invite people that I'm connected with on LinkedIn. Yeah. And it's sort of like I was trying to get the message because I thought it was funny that you thought it was so funny.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's sort of like it was like, hey, do you want to join me on the show? And you said, what exactly are you about? Right. And I said, about 5'10", 200 pounds. So you thought that was, I don't know. It's just something stupid that came to my head. But I was like, I don't know. What am I about? That's what I'm about.
Well, you're accurate.
Yeah.
I couldn't fault you on that. And I love that kind of sense of humor because obviously, okay, this guy I want to talk to, I really don't care. I'll chat with him anyway.
Exactly. So, I mean, I appreciate you joining me on the show. A lot of people are a little skeptical. I mean, who am I? I'm a nobody. I started the show, back beginning of sort of COVID. I was sitting at home. I was like, I need something to do, people to talk to. I usually had conversations, Zoom calls with people. So I just started recording them. We did I think a 21-day where I did 21 days of videos every day. Yeah. I called it like a summit, and I invited some people. I had like Jennifer Botterill and a couple different people. So there was, had some people on there. It was kind of interesting, and I just kind of kept it going. It's been fun to get to know people that are doing things that maybe are not as heralded as the average person. It is what it is, right? And we throw it up there.
I saw what you did. I checked you out. I loved what you did because you're spontaneous.
Yeah.
And you click on a lot of really interesting things during your conversations. You're talking about, starting a business, how you struggled as an entrepreneur, right? How you overcome those, and a lot of those things I could I've been there, done that, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. It's everyone's story. Like I think people don't realize that when especially young, I think younger, when they're starting out, they think success is like just happens. I use this joke. It's like the 20-year overnight success, right? There's a lot that goes into it. So why don't we start there? Let's do that. Choose your own adventure usually, but I'll do why don't we go do you want to start where you're at now, like Jam Sesh, or let's go or talk a little bit about what got you to
we'll start there.
Start at the beginning kind of thing.
Yeah, in the beginning. So I did like 10 years in financial services doing communications. Okay. So eventually I lost my job. I was in hedge funds and I started freelance writing and gravitating towards the cannabis sector. And I love weed. We could talk about weed till the cows come home. Okay. And I'm a parent as well, right? And I've got 2 daughters. So I got to raise the bar a little higher for myself and say, hey, I can't tell my kids that all I do is burn and not do anything and contribute. So that's one of the things I found out over the years. I'm like, on this journey of entrepreneurship, you learn by making your mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of things I did as a writer, sweat equity, right? Sweat equity means you're working for free, but you could get commission down the road if it hits off, right? So I'm sure you've heard that deal a lot of times too.
Yeah. You got to put in the time, right? Right. You put in the time, you put in the effort, and then hopefully it pays out in the end, right?
Yeah, but with the cannabis industry, it's been more times than not, it hasn't panned out. Okay. So I learned a few things. It's like, if you're going to do sweat equity, do for a certain amount of time, don't do it all. And hedge your bets too, right? And try to pick partners that are reasonable. When the cannabis industry popped out 5 years ago, it was a wild west, right? There was a lot of people saying I was this and I was that. You know, they're rock stars, and there was a lot of craziness going on in the beginning. It was just insane.
Right. It was sort of it was like, and investments were coming in, and everyone was thinking like, and it was sort of, there was a lot of unknown too, right, in this space.
There was a lot of pump and dumps. There's a lot of people claiming to be things that they were not. Right. There's a lot of sketchy people and trying to, you know, there's a lot of, pump and dumps were so common too. Right. Like it happened. It still happens today, right?
Yeah. Well, it's, I mean, I think it's like anything, right? And this is, you know, not to whatever in sort of like crypto or cannabis, or, I mean, you could look at the stock market, like there's a lot of bad actors, like people that are going to see the opportunity to, you know, kind of come in, take advantage of the masses, the hype, the whatever, and then kind of, you know, as you said, pump and dump. Like I was just watching a thing, you could probably relate to this and kind of in what you've gone through. There's in the crypto space, there's a lot of these sort of like quasi influencers, you know, are backing these, you know, these altcoins, whatever you want to call them. And essentially, you know, I was watching one where these guys literally were like given the coin, they promoted it, it went up, whatever, and then it released, and literally within like 1 or 2 hours, they were all sold out of it, and the thing just went like in a straight line down, right, to basically zero, and then everyone loses their money. And
you learn from those experiences, right?
Right. It's crazy, right? So I'm sure in the cannabis space, it's been interesting. I've heard some stories as well. So okay, so you were with, I think you were a Citigroup, right, and a couple other. Right, back in the day, and doing, and so you got it, BlackBerry, okay, and then you got into sort of more of the like production, social media, you know, kind of content creation, right, those types of things. What got you? Let me ask you a question. You get we're talking like early 2000s, right?
2015 the Canada. That's when I entered the Canada.
Right. No, but I'm saying like even like mid 2000s, you're kind of getting into social media, blogger, but then you're kind of into in that like early 2010s. How's it been? Like how's that? What have you seen evolve in those kind of like 10 years, right? From like 2010 to now, like in that media space, right? What are some of the things that you've seen?
A lot of things have changed. Technology advanced. Vapes are getting better. They're getting better with the weed count and like accurately saying how much each plant is worth. And so they're getting a little bit better, but there's still a lot of shenanigans going out there nowadays, because now when you know, if you're a licensed producer, you buy weed, you need a certificate of authenticity.
Right.
Or authorization, and it tells you what all the codes are, how much it's worth, and what the THC should be, right, or whatever, right? It's just the testing's gotten a little bit better down the road. A lot of people have changed over. There's brand new people at the helm nowadays in 2021. New management, new staff. Everyone's like gone from 5 years ago, basically.
Really? Okay, so there's been a huge shift in the market from the people that were there maybe in the start, and then now people that are there. What do you think is what do you think has kind of spurred that shift?
I think a lot of things, and mergers, acquisitions, and the Americans coming in. Basically, things are changing in the States, and they're going in more favor of them. So initially in 2015, the Americans wanted Canada, as Canada was kind of like a stepping stone into Europe and different places, right?
Right.
But if it's all a free for all and everything's legit in America, they don't need Canada anymore, right? But what they've done is they've established, like, Canopy Growth is owned by Corona and Constellation Brands, which is huge, right? In alcohol. So now they've got more money than God, and that's why Canopy Growth owns like over almost 20 brands.
Right. Well, I was looking at something. They bought BioSteel, the drink, the sport drink, right? So they've done some of those types of acquisitions.
They're getting very dynamic, and they're going to go, you know, and they're going to introduce CBD into those water sports drinks, right? Which and THC. So it makes sense, right? They've already got the brand. It's
adding another line item, right? Okay, so let's talk about Jam Sesh, right? So I noticed that you worked with Dean Blundell, a couple different things, you know, with Cannabis Wiki, and now obviously you're doing Jam Sesh. So tell me a little bit about Jam Sesh. Jam Sesh. So Jam Sesh Media, and obviously you're looking to produce video content,
right?
Kind of storytelling. Tell me a little bit about some of the products or projects that you've worked on. I checked out your site. You know, I looked at a couple of the videos. Kind of cool. What is it you guys are doing with Jam Sesh Media?
So after 5 years, I decided I could do it on my own, and so I got a video producer who's also a cameraman and excellent editor, but a music composer as well.
Okay.
In 5 years in the cannabis space, I've never seen any videos that really clicked, that really, you know, connected with me. And they're missing huge points because you need music to drive cannabis, and it all kind of gels together, right? So my point is I could tell the cinematic storyline. And so that's when I teamed up with my partner, and we started Jam Sesh Media. We were doing a sponsorship with Medlock Packaging Solutions.
Okay.
They started with methadone packaging.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Before cannabis, and then eventually got into the cannabis packaging. So we were doing a brand awareness campaign of just interviewing other people in the space, in the cannabis space, and trying to give back to people that way and tell their story, tell their branding, tell their challenges, talk about stigma, right? So, you know, one of the first people we went to was Elias Theodoro, right? The main event.
Okay.
He's a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
He's the first cannabis athlete that got acknowledged in Canada. He just got acknowledged in the States as well.
Okay.
So he could fight with cannabis.
Oh, okay. So he's the first legally allowed athlete to participate using cannabis. Okay. Yes. Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. So I guess, I mean, if you look at major league sports, right? Like they're being sent home for the season for testing positive, right? So you're saying there's a bit of a transition now where he's the first arguably major pro athlete. Okay, it is
in Canada and the United States. Canada, he just got recognized in Oregon or Colorado.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. And I guess in the States, because it's statewide, right? So some states it's still illegal, right?
Right. So you got to be careful there. But so giving back to the community by interviewing really interesting people that are giving to the community. Like he's an advocate. He's starting off with a few things, and I've known him for years. He's a solid guy. Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Cannabis Passport?
The Cannabis Passport?
I think I spoke to a guy a while ago. I think he's down in the Detroit area. You might want to look it up. It's called the, I think it's the Cannabis Passport. Yeah. Passport. Yeah. And cannabispassport.ca.
Check them out.
Yeah. They have this basically as a rolling paper passport, right? And it's sort of like,
awesome.
Yeah. So
I'll check it out.
I'm trying to think what his name was, but anyways, he's very heavily involved. There was an actor or musician that they were connected with that was also very much prominent in sort of promoting cannabis. I should know all this.
No worries, I'll check them out.
I'm going to get the name so we can say it right here on air. John Scannell. And so one of the things they were working with so it's a rolling paper magazine.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah, and so they had some partnerships with, I forget who the actor was, but he was very prominent. They were sort of like pushing out this kind of like, it was sort of, because it was back in the day where and it's still probably the way where you as a producer, as a retailer, the restrictions on advertising are very restricted, right?
They're brutal.
You can't, exactly. So it's tough to get your word out there.
Yeah.
So I mean, people like you putting together content, right, is good. But how do you dispense that content, right? How do you get it? Because you can't just do a Facebook ad with a cannabis commercial, right? Is my understanding, right?
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. The advertising is minimum. You can't do anything. The only thing on this thing is your logo, which is this little spot right there. and everything else is legalese, and it has to be, right?
Right, and warnings and whatnot, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So you can't have any, it can't be influential, it can't be branding, you can't have kids on there having a good time. It's bare bones, right? So Health Regulations Canada says that's the way it's going to roll. They're tougher on this than alcohol ever was. So there's absolutely next to no advertising, right?
Where do you see it going? Like obviously you guys are putting content together, right? And video and with the music and getting sort of the vibe and stuff for businesses. Where do you see it going to get that out, the message out?
I think through a media platforms such as ourselves, where we're going to be doing things that are kind of non-biased and reviews and giving back to the community. So like I said, we're getting programming out about these advocates, right? So free programming such as that, and just for them to explain themselves and let people know who they are, right? Because a lot of these people can't even explain who they are and whatnot, because the regulations say, oh, that's influential, social, whatever, right? So, we give them an opportunity to ask the honest questions and tell them like that. But in the long run, I think things will loosen up, hopefully. And things will people will be able to participate in events and maybe there'll be new ways of covering those events and showing those events.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool. Actually, about 2 years ago, so a buddy of mine said, hey, you know how to start businesses. You've started businesses. I want to start essentially a cannabis shop. And I was like, yeah, they're going to be, it seems like they're not around, but look around now, 2 years later, there's one in every corner, right? I was like, I was kind of right. I said, they're basically going to be like a corner store, right? So, you're going to have them everywhere. There you go. Hits. Are you smoking? This is a show for adults. So everyone practice responsibly. But anyways, what I said to him, and I have the URL still. So if anyone out there wants to use this, yourself included, Phil, JaneJoints.com. So the thought process was, obviously Mary Jane and a joint can either be a joint or a place, right? So the idea was JaneJoints.com, and it would be like a directory for marijuana. And so you could create this whole reviews and obviously directory of where they are. And you could do reviews on the product, and you could have events, and you could do all kinds of live on locations and all kinds of video content, kind of like what you guys are doing with Jam Sesh, right? And the idea would be this, Jane Joints. It's kind of it's become synonymous with almost like a, Weed Up or some of the stuff that's in the US, right? Where they've got,
you should have marketed that 10 years ago.
Well, it only was about two and a half years ago, but
still, you were ahead of the time. But
we were. Well, I think we were right in line with the times, but that was the idea, was Jane Joints. But
the only part of the problem is in Toronto, there's no places designated to smoke weed. Right?
Well, this was it, right? And so one of the things that a lot of people thought, and I kind of discouraged some of my buddies away from opening up shops, because the one thing that they were like, oh yeah, and then we'll have this smoke room. I'm like, do you realize you can't legally smoke in a public place indoors, right? So it's not like you can have a bar and serve alcohol,
right?
The version of that, it's illegal, right? So they've kind of curtailed it a lot, where you can have the little stores. My wife and I, we were in Niagara Falls with our kids on the weekend. You've got all the little shops. I'm not going to lie. We do edibles on occasion. It's legal. So we'll participate, and, it makes for a fun evening, but
absolutely.
You're lined up for the little shop, and it's very conspicuous. You're standing there. Everyone knows what's going on, but again, it's legal. It's like walking into the LCBO.
Exactly.
Right. We also go into the LCBO, and people are lined up around the corner for that. Right. So I think the stigma is coming off it a little bit.
There's still that stigma.
I think it
is getting better though.
I think it's going to take a generation, right? I think. If you went back to prohibition, although in Canada there wasn't a prohibition, but you go back to whatever the 30s in the US, I bet the 40s or whenever prohibition was lifted, it was sort of still a bit taboo, right? And then it wasn't for another. It'll take for the next generation to kind of be. They just grew up with it. It's accepted. right? Because everyone in our generation, you know, I'm assuming we're a similar generation, you know, it was very much, you were like hiding in the back of your school, like, you know, or in the woods, or, you know, for me on the bluffs, right? It was sort of, you know, right? It was, you're like hiding wherever you have to hide, right? So Scarborough, yeah, good old Scarborough Bluffs, right? Cardinal Newman right there. So all the CNHS people know exactly what I'm referring to. But yeah, so that's, I mean, things will change. So in the space you're in, Jam Sesh, you're working with, like, who are some of the, I mean, I don't need you to necessarily say the company names, but like, what are some of the organizations that you're working with or looking to work with? And like, what are some of the ideas you have of how you can maybe tell their story?
I think we're trying to branch out into different groups, stay with cannabis. We've had interviews with Truck Brand.
Okay.
Elevate in LA.
Okay.
So I've got people all over the place in Vancouver. So we're just trying to mingle and go to different lifestyles and get involved with different projects.
Okay.
One of them we're getting involved with, we're doing some different kind of cinematic kind of things. So it'll be interesting when it pops, and I'll definitely share it with you.
Yeah. Share with me, and we can share with, because we've both got different audiences.
Yeah. One thing we just finished with a little promo we did with BMW in Dubai.
Okay.
So we got some camera people over there, and then we did all the work here in Canada. We completed the video, so maybe you could share that with your audience or the link. Yeah, and that's one of the latest things we do. And we're in the community space. We're looking for collaborators too that'll, like, you know, it's beneficial for the both of us to collaborate, things like that. But, you know, we're looking to branch out into different areas. And just, you know, the cannabis industry's been zipping with the salt and pepper and the sizzle. It just it's all flat, right? And they kind of have to be. So we're looking to light it up with music, right? Yeah. And just with different people in the industry and giving back to the community, right?
I like that. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So you kind of branched a little bit out. So do you see bringing them back? Like, so you mentioned automotive, BMW, you mentioned sort of different, like, is there a way to maybe tie them into cannabis?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, you know, I love traveling. That's one thing. And traveling is finding about music and food and things like that.
Right.
And weed. I got a hit burn list, you know, Jamaica, Las Vegas, Amsterdam.
Right.
Right. So it's about mixing in those lifestyles and telling that story. And, you know, people aren't telling that story with the pop and the sizzle anymore. They're just blah, 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 you know. So that's where it's like, people are missing that. But also, you know, one thing I've learned is it's script writing. Writing the script is the most important thing.
The storytelling.
It's all about the storytelling. It's all about the writing. If you don't have solid writing, you got nothing.
Right.
You can have all the sizzle and pop, but like if the story doesn't blend in and resonate with that end user, it's nothing, right? So and I know how to resonate with that end user. I'm the end user, right? Whether it's traveling, cannabis, family, you know how to relate to those people.
Right.
Tell that story out, right?
Yeah. What just so. So you obviously started Jam Sesh Media, Jam Sesh Media about what, 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago?
No, a couple months ago.
Oh, really? Okay, so I thought it was longer. Okay, so tell us a little bit about that experience then, kind of starting your own business and kind of going out.
So I was at the Crossroads. I had a regular job at the time recently.
Okay.
And it went to hell, which is fine, right? Because I had Jam Sesh going. I had a couple projects. Some people were knocking on my door. Can you do this video? Can you do it? And so it was like, I had a whole bunch of things going up in the air. And I went left, and I think I should have went right, but the path got corrected for me anyways.
Okay.
Because I got let go, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Right.
Because I was so much more happier talking about what I was doing on LinkedIn with other people in the community and supporting them, and starting my own production video company with the right people, right?
Right.
And so this one guy I've known for over a year, he's my video editor now.
Yeah.
He dabbled on a few things, and this is part of the learning mistakes and stuff like too. We didn't hit it out of the park initially, but we worked together well, and we were talking about concepts and creativity and how we get there. And that was the most important part of the storytelling concept. Is we got to add more oomph to it and tell that, be consistent, right? So that's when, you know, in the last 5 years, I understand the importance of script writing and developing it as a writer. And that's why I want to produce things and visualize things.
Right.
And get them, you know, like Spielberg, it's like, it's addictive. And as a writer, I've come a long way from writing, but I want to produce video. That's the only way I could do it, quite honestly. as being the owner.
right. Yeah.
You know, because like I've been cringing and telling, you know, I get the product done, then it goes to the corporate people. The corporate people pick at it and go,
and they,
no.
yeah.
And that's like, well, you're not going to resonate with the end user. Well, what was the point of the video? What was the point of the video? It's like, you know, that's the whole process that I was discussing. So with corporate people and creative people, there's a disconnect, right?
Right.
And creatively, I know I'm in a much better place because I'm creating content I want. Right. Like when you look at that BMW promo in Dubai we did, and the other things I'll send you, even about what we're doing, is like, it's different, right? And this is what caught my eye about this video guy. I saw his Instagram over a year and a half ago. And I said, wow, this guy's crying for help. I see his shit. I think the guy's got talent. Right. He just needs to steer it a different way. And so just working with a different writer and producer like him, it's like, so like we're tinkering away and we're kind of creating different products, and they're coming out better and better. And every time he's getting even more creative because I'm pushing him in different directions that are not in his comfort zone, right?
Right.
And I think, you know, we're trying to cross brand into different things. And I love travel, I love cars, and, you know, coming on this was my first experience in quite some time.
That's all good. That's all good.
I thought you were crazy. It's like, I got to meet this guy, right?
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. I'm crazy.
I love
I'm not
people.
crazy.
I love people with humor because I think, you know, that's what transcendence, like, you know, hopefully we can build a relationship.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I'd love to continue on to kind of see if we can put something together too. Like, I mean, I mentioned briefly off air tracks. Last summer, kind of just happenstance, I met a guy. He was into racing. He was trying to broadcast basically through backers. He was trying to figure out how to live stream these races. So I said, you know, I could probably see what I can do. I'd done some stuff with the hockey league, with the 3HL. And so we went up, met with the track owner, and sort of, you know, within 24 hours, it's going from conversation to, I'll see you on Saturday, we're live streaming the event. And oh, by the way, I have a race car that you can drive in the races that day. So it was like, just went like from like zero to 100 in like a 24-hour period.
I definitely want to talk to you more about that.
And fast forward a year, I've since bought a race car. I actually am hopefully to pick it up tomorrow. And I'm racing it on Saturday. I've been waiting almost a year for it. I bought like a car, we're talking old cars. These are like beat up little stock cars, right? So not a lot of money, a couple $100. But and then going racing, but I was racing his car most of last summer, right? So I'm going up to the track. We'll be going up, you know, each Saturday. So I'm now ingrained. We were live streaming on tracks live on Facebook. We'd get between 3,000 to 5,000 people every Saturday night watching the races up at, it's called Varney International Speedway. But I'd love to talk to you about maybe putting something together for that too. Because if you love cars, I mean, it's not Formula One and it's not Ferrari. These are like little Chevy Cobalts, roll caged out, crash their shit, driving in a quarter mile at about 100 kilometers an hour, you know, and going into the walls and hitting each other.
That's
so
awesome.
It's pretty crazy. And they get some of the bigger ones, you know, they've got the 8 and 10 cylinder, they call them late models, and, you know, the Thunder stocks and stuff like that. And the whatever, the Thunder trucks and all that stuff, but it's pretty amazing. You're at the track. Yeah. Like just adrenaline. So would love to discuss that. Yeah. How we can get you guys out there. So Phil, I really appreciate you joining me. Where can everyone find you? Obviously on LinkedIn, Phil Wong, but where? Jamsesh.media.
So it's www.jamsesh.media.
.media, yeah.
And then I'm on Instagram at Phil Wong, PhilWong 6470.
6470. Okay, yeah.
So I can send you all this stuff.
Phone number.
And I'm on LinkedIn. I'm the only Asian guy in the cannabis community.
Okay, yeah, no,
in Canada.
No. I'm sure there's others that smoke weed here and there. That's cool. So, and the cannabis space. So let's leave this. If there was one word that you could give as advice to yourself, a younger you, what would that one word be?
One word. Holy
Holy? That's the word? No.
No, it would be
the opposite of holy?
Yeah, it would shit.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Holy and then shit after.
Yeah.
Vet people more carefully.
Yeah.
Vet people more carefully. And as a business person, you gotta do that because you gotta know what you're dealing with, right? I've had situations where I was in meetings and everything blew up because the guy was a hand grenade and I didn't know, but I should have known. You know what I mean? Like looking back on that, it was like, wow. That's vet people more carefully.
So how would you? What would you? I mean, can we elaborate on that? Like, what would you? What would be maybe steps to vet people? That's interesting.
Like, so once you get to know, like in the cannabis industry, people get to know each other by the trade show, things like that, right?
Right.
So have coffee with them, talk about them a little bit more diligently, find out what they're about, what really motivates them.
Yeah.
Find out if they're a high stress person.
Right. They cause. Yeah.
Yeah, or they're calm and like what have they done, right? And trying to vet like how they've done that, because like in the cannabis space, everyone was starting from ground zero, right?
Right.
And at the time, some people were coming out with acronyms for their names and wearing masks on LinkedIn because they didn't want to come out fully as a cannabis person because there was stigma back then.
Right.
I came out with my full name because I was a writer and I was a journalist, so I can't. They have to trust me to a certain degree that what information they give me, I pass on accordingly. But so there's that trust and there's a writer too. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did that. So
Awesome. Yeah. So just definitely vet people. And I mean, I think that kind of holds true for a lot of things. Like you want to kind of, I don't know if the word is avoid, but at least be cautious around, like you said, people that maybe are toxic, I guess maybe is the word. There's
a lot of entrepreneurs that really want to collaborate, such as you and I, right? You just hit it off. I know you seem like a solid guy. I checked you out on LinkedIn. We're going to get to know each other before we can do some transactions. Things like that, and who they are socially, right? So, because like I said, you're waiting for deals to go through, and you got a couple of them. I've dealt with some crypto. We'll talk about that later.
That's another space as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like that crypto space, same thing. Person's talking, they're a CEO of some company you've never heard of. How do you vet them? Right? So you've got to talk to them a little bit more and get to know who you're dealing with, right? Because you're going to be doing some kind of projects down the road and you're going to be working for them or vice versa, right? Right. You kind of want to know what you're dealing with at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, Phil, I really appreciate you joining me. We should definitely, I personally, I don't smoke ever really. I did a lot in high school. I do on occasion, but I was going to say, maybe we should go grab, now that COVID's kind of over, maybe go for a coffee and take a hit from the bong, I guess, as the kids say. A little bong hit, right? Or whatever. I'm trying to. My kids sometimes watch this, but whatever. We'll go smoke a J. We'll spark it up and we'll sit down, have a coffee, and talk some business. But I really appreciate you joining me. Everyone else out there, this is Phil Wong, Justin Fox. This is One Take, powered by backers. I usually say that backwards. I just said it the wrong way. Anyways, whatever. It's been good. I'll see you guys again very soon. Have yourselves a great day. Phil, thank you very much. Hey there. Welcome to One Take, powered by backers.
Right? No judging. No judging.
The millennials are really changing that.
Is charm. No.
All success begins with desire.
I feel like I'm on fire right now.
OMG.